We're down to 8 teams battling for 6 playoff spots as we travel to Kansas Speedway and round number 2 of the postseason. Welcome to the eNASCAR Heat Pro League broadcast refreshed by Coca-Cola. We're inside the NASCAR Hall of Fame studios here in Charlotte. I'm Chris Wilner alongside Hannah Newhouse. Boy, you thought Vegas was crazy? Just wait till we get to the track here at Kansas Motor Speedway. Hannah, this has been an intense playoff battle in just one round with so many tight points battles for those drivers trying to advance. I can only expect we're going to see the same tonight.
And I think, like you said it there, Las Vegas was a lot of insight of what we're going to continually see throughout these playoffs. You look at those points, and it is tight from first through about fifth. And then you've got those bubble drivers that are, tonight could be the night that they could really put that lifeline out, jump above that bubble. But it has to be the mistake of another team, too, that allows them to do that. So a lot that could go right for some teams, but also a lot that could go wrong. But what got us here, Las Vegas, 2 weeks ago, the first round of the playoffs. If you missed the racing, let's take a look at this recap. The pressure is on as we are green at Las Vegas for the Xbox race during the first round of the playoffs. Battle for the lead now as he clears them. Looks like track bar slipped up there a little bit. SHG tried to take advantage of it, couldn't quite, as now the bull
We've got an accident.
That's garbage, goes around. Looks like he collects more dog with him.
Caution, caution, yellow's out.
He saw an opportunity and he took it. Didn't work out that time.
Right now it's 3x3. Contact with Diego. Diego back on the apron. Oh, and we've got one in the wall, so hard hit.
That's what happens when you get an idiot and 24 car stays out. You checked up the whole field.
You rode my bumper all the way around the...
But you checked up the whole field and you caused all the carnage that was right behind there. So think about that. That's something I'd expect out of Bolt, not you. Use your head.
Battle for the lead, side by side with garbage on the inside. Track bar's been dominant all day long. Track bar will still hold the advantage. Off of corner number 4, JTG Doherty will get the win with track bar in playoff race number 1.
He never slipped up. He kept that thing wound up even if he had to move up a group and got the W.
Green flag is in the air for the PlayStation race. Fluffy is just executing every lap and trying to keep that distance.
And now we've got an accident here on the front straightaway.
Sloppy, you might want to tighten your car up there.
Made a mistake, Parker. We all make mistakes. Relax.
The Bear out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Going to try to now make it 3 wide through turn 3. Oh boy, hang on, folks. This is a high-speed roller coaster ride around Las Vegas Motor Speedway as they come across the lap car of Nick Jobs. Oh, we've got some contact. The 14 gets shoved onto pit road.
What a joke y'all are, man. Pathetic, Sloppy and Joe. Pathetic.
I didn't do anything. Shut your mouth.
Checkered flag is out. And the 95 of the Bear gets the victory here.
A perfectly executed race by the Bear.
Can't beat him, wreck him, huh? It's all right. I'll see y'all next week.
And tempers continue to fly as we look at the official standings going into round number 2 of the postseason with Penske Esports solidly atop with Roush Fenway Gaming and Stewart Haas Gaming right in hot pursuit.
And that being said, you look down there at that bubble, Junior Motorsports 24 points behind, but it's a close gap between them and Wood Brothers. That's the gap there to get into this next round here. A bad night for Junior Motorsports. Really could put another one of these drivers like Go Fast Gaming and that team into contention in this round of 6, but it has to be a perfectly executed night for one of those teams.
It certainly does, and Go Fast Gaming, as you see there, the last team in, trying to get in one more round of the playoffs. Now, we're going to go down to our digital media lounge with Zane because Go Fast Gaming had to sneak in last week off a tiebreaker, and correct me if I'm wrong, Zane. It took 3 different rounds to try to, or playoff ways to tie to try to get them in. Explain what happened there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Chris. So for how we worked it, the points actually ended up with a tiebreaker for Go Fast and Germain Racing at the end of Vegas. We looked at the rule books. There's multiple different tiebreakers. It was based off of finishing position. That really couldn't work because they still tied out. We ended up having to go to the final tiebreaker, which was qualify position, to decide who was going to move on to the next rounds. And surprisingly enough, on each qualifying round, Go Fast beat Germain by 1 position. They qualified in front of the other guy just enough to get them to the next round, so they moved themselves into this, the round of 8.
And that shows right there how close the racing is here in the eNASCAR Heat Pro League. Thank you, Zane. We'll check back in with you here in a little bit.
Anytime. Thank you.
And one of the teams on the bubble, though, is Wood Brothers Gaming with number 1 overall PlayStation pick Slade. And how about this? It's going to be an intense battle for this team as they try to get back and get in another round of the postseason. And a guy who knows a little bit, a thing or two about these two drivers is John Wood of Wood Brothers Gaming and Wood Brothers Racing. Welcome to the show, and I know you've got your eyes on these two guys. What's it been like for you this season to watch your team compete in the eNASCAR Heat Pro League?
It's been different. It's been a lot of fun. Other than that, I don't really know. What do you really say? Slade's really enthusiastic. Had a lot of fun with him. Casey's had some bad luck, but it's been fun.
Now, something we talked to Slade about earlier in the season was the spin scooter. It's been so cool to see you guys bring Spin in as a sponsor that's really specific to your eNASCAR Heat Pro League drivers. He got that scooter if he won. That was the bet,
Yeah, that
right?
was the deal. And I kind of kicked myself for making that because for a while I was going to have to buy it. For that first race, I said, dude, you win, and we'll get you a scooter. And I didn't really think he had I didn't know he was as good as he is, and lo and behold, he won. So, but yeah, those guys hooked him up, and he has it in the background for every one of the races. The first time it was there, he had because the headlight won't cut off, so he's there racing and doing all this and that, and the headlights in the background just glaring right on his little camera deal.
I think his mom
walks in and turns it off. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
Now, I know you're a pretty intense sim racer as well, and you like to get behind the wheel, and you also won at Kansas Motor Speedway back in 2003. So talk a little bit about your experience with the sim and running these kind of cars around there, and especially Kansas, what these guys can expect.
Well, nothing's really, even the video game is so different from like iRacing, for instance. So I've offered absolutely nothing. I brought nothing to the table. It is a lot of fun to play, though, and so I was on Zane's show, in fact, a couple weeks ago. I can't remember, the tire slide or something. And so I'm practicing at home because I don't want to look like an idiot. Michael Levine, in fact, because he had the fastest time, so I want to make sure I at least beat Michael. So I'm practicing. I go up to take a shower, and I come back. My wife's playing.
There you go. So, I like it.
Yeah, but it's a lot of fun. I've had fun with this.
And we've actually got Slade. He's been hanging out watching. There you go. He's on Skype. Back to the phone there. I think he's listening, though, if you want to say hi to your driver here before we get ready to go racing.
Slade, do I look fat?
He's just shaking his head.
The head shake.
I can see a smile.
Awesome. Well, that being said, the Bear, last week's winner from Las Vegas. Let's take a look at that player profile and learn a little bit more about him.
Hey guys, my name is Josh Harvard. I'm 30 years old and I'm from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. But most folks know me as the Bear 95 on PlayStation 4. Stick around, show you guys a few things. Growing up, I'm a huge Alabama football fan, so Paul Bear Bryant was probably one of my inspirations as a kid, even though I didn't get to see him coach. I just loved his tenacity, and I just wanted to transfer that into the gaming world. This room is my room. It's off limits to everybody but me. This is pretty much me in a nutshell. I'm a die-hard Steelers fan. It's no secret I'm a die-hard Alabama football fan. Also, I'm a big Earnhardt fan as well. I'm a tire salesman. I work at a tire shop in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and I sell rubber for a living. So I'm always in front of folks and always talking to people, conversing with others. So I'm a people person overall. I just enjoy what I do. This is my setup right here. Just real simple. It's like an 80s dinner tray right here. I'm not real sure. Found it one day out in the garage and been using it ever since. Got a Logitech G29 wheel with obviously the Logitech shifter and pedals. It's nothing fancy. Old piece of carpet I cut out, out in the garage, and where it helps my pedals to keep from sliding. An old Magellan camping chair. I play the game on this 65-inch 4K TV. Two of my two biggest race fans here. This is Molly, and that's my English Bulldog Boxer mix, and that's Daisy, my Razor's Edge Blue Nose Pit. Those two sit right here behind me during every Pro League race, and their dad's good luck charm. Ain't that right, girls? That's just a little bit about me, guys, and a little bit about my home. Thanks for stopping by. See you guys next time.
I think that's the best good luck charm you could have, or two puppers sitting behind you, and I'm sure whispering some sweet, sweet, sweet setups for him.
And that being said, he did win last week's race, or 2 weeks ago's race at Las Vegas, the defending winner. Let's take a look at that setup secret and what helped the Bear collect that victory.
So honestly, as you know, Heat 4 recently just came out. Launch day was last week. And besides the game being totally freaking awesome and just everything about it being improved, from everything from the wall reverb to the engine sounds to the graphics to everything, the setup screen this year is still pretty much looks similar to what it looked like last year. The one thing that I like most about it, though, is the adjustments that you make on your car have a little bit better and a greater effect on the car themselves. versus Heat 3 where you just max everything out and go wide open. So for you novice guys or for beginners out there who are having trouble blowing tires or anything like that, you may want to start with lower track bars, and you may want to start with lower front weight here. And if you're having trouble still with stability, you can move up to your shock settings here, and you can lower these down to in the single digits, and it will also tighten the car up as well. And that's just a few tips from the Bear.
Pretty good stuff there from the Bear. And as he pointed out, too, with NASCAR Heat 4, your adjustments matter so much in this game and the way your car drives. So if you are a novice, like he said, or somebody like me that's just flat out awful, I need to be taking notes because those adjustments certainly can affect your race car.
And it's been interesting to see how we started the preseason and then the beginning of the regular season in eNASCAR Heat 3, and so these drivers haven't had a lot of time on NASCAR Heat 4 to get acclimated, to learn this. And like he said, it's so intricate in NASCAR Heat 4 to be able to get it dialed in. So interesting to really see how they've had to adapt this. But let's go back down to Zane there, who's actually got a special guest joining him.
I don't. It's Jeff Gordon's stunt double. Actually, I'm kidding. It's Sam Morris, Moordog from Hendrick Motorsports Gaming, GC.
Yeah, Hendrick
like
Motorsports
GC. Like
yeah.
we gang. Okay, cool. What are you doing here, bro? Like I thought you lived in Indiana. Why are you here?
I'm here for a Hendrick Motorsports Partner Conference tomorrow, and I saw the opportunity with the race tonight, and I was like, I can't turn that down. So that's when I hit you up and everything, and here I am.
Well, I did offer you my simulator, so you're sitting in my simulator chair, and you're going to be racing from there here at the track. So we saw there it is right there. Like I'm telling you guys, the rug really brings the room together. It's great. But we have you here today. You know, we saw in the recap the last race at Vegas, you and Tedeschi, Shelby Power, kind of got into it on track, and he said he expected that out of the Bolt and not you. How have things been since then?
They're fine. Me and Brian have those issues all the time, but I love him like a brother. He's part of the group of guys I talk to during the races and, you know, outside of the races and other racing leagues. So, no big deal there. It's just part of it.
Gotcha. And I think we have some cool stuff going on where you're going to talk about a lap around Kansas a little bit here. We got a cool hot lap, so you can kind of take a look at it and tell us how you drive around Kansas and best way to be fast.
Mm-hmm.
Rated E for everyone.
As you see here in Kansas, the main focus around this track is you're going to be wanting to be against the wall most of the time. Stay middle lane, middle of the wall. Oh, he's right in the bottom lane here. That's interesting. For most of the race tonight, you'll see a lot of guys against the wall for most of the race, especially with tire wear. You know, we aren't skidding the tires as much like that. It's interesting to see the lines he's choosing right here because for the race tonight, you'll see everybody riding against the wall and everything like that. Keeps momentum up. It'll be a long draft line. You see 14 of us out there will be riding against the wall. And if someone goes to the bottom like they are right now, they're going to be going to the back.
Nice. And so everyone's going to be on the Kyle Larson line, high side and grooving.
And a lot of slide jobs.
A lot of slide jobs. You heard it here. So, Sam, I want to thank you for coming out, and we're going to let you get ready for the rest of the race here. But, man, I appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, can't wait.
Always.
Excited.
Yep. Sam Morris, guys.
Awesome. Hey, thank you again, Moordog. We'll check in with you a little bit later as well. And thank you, Zane. We'll be in touch with you as well. But speaking of that, Chris, we know Hendrick Gaming is not in contention right now for this championship. There's a couple teams that have really broke themselves away, and there's a couple that are fighting for their lives right now.
Yeah, I know. There's like a big wall between pressure and no pressure. And although they're not in the playoff hunt per se, you know, Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club, they still want to win races, and you can still win races. So no pressure for them and no pressure for a couple teams that are right at the top.
And a team that's picked up some real late-season momentum, Stewart Haas Gaming with their drivers Slick and Hot Rod. We're joined here on the pre-show, though, by the voice of SHG, Jake Morris, to talk about these drivers going into the second round here of the playoffs. Jake, first off, thanks for joining us. You guys did it again. Both your drivers qualifying on the pole for these races. How are they feeling, and where did this late-season momentum come from?
You know, I told our guys at the beginning of the season and through the midway point that, you know, you guys are running great. You're fast every week. You're just not getting the luck that you need. And eventually we got that luck toward the end of the regular season. We won at Daytona in both divisions, which was absolutely incredible. And we're trying to carry that momentum over into the playoffs. Last week wasn't the greatest. I wasn't here, so I'm convincing myself that I took the luck with me. But I'm bringing it back now. So we're on the pole for both races, and hopefully we can go out there and get a win in both races too.
Is it hard for your drivers and your team really in general to not overlook this round and kind of focus on, because you're so high in the points and so solidly in contention, to look forward to that championship four, or do you kind of have to keep them grounded and say, hey, one race at a time?
Yeah, it's tough. We're definitely trying to keep them grounded. That's what we're about here at Stewart-Haas Gaming and Stewart-Haas Racing. It's one race at a time. You want to keep that momentum rolling, and to do that, you have to be good at the races that maybe don't count as much. But it doesn't matter if it's the round of 2, round of 4, round of 6, round of 8, whatever it is. Our guys are going to come in focused, and they're going to be ready to go.
And you seem pretty confident in your drivers week in and week out. They've done it before. You think your drivers' chances are pretty high at getting the win in both races tonight?
I think so. I've talked to both drivers. Slick's feeling a little under the weather, but he said he's going to prop himself up in that seat, and he'll be ready to go even if he is feeling bad. Hot Rod, they're working on some of their setups right now, so hopefully we can go out there and dominate again like we did at Daytona. That would be awesome.
Well, thank you, Jake, again, and best of luck to both Slick and Hot Rod in tonight's race.
Thanks, guys.
Well, the countdown to green is certainly coming up here as we're just moments away.
And the countdown to green coming up here shortly, just moments away. Take a look here at this race rundown. 55 laps in total. We've got that pit window somewhere between the 13 and 15 laps, and there's that competition caution on lap 23. This is going to provide those opportunities for these drivers and teams to really strategize what they're going to do, because this is a race that someone could really play fuel mileage in.
Oh, they certainly can. I was talking to Nick Jobs here earlier this week, and he was saying that 13 to 15 lap pit window, it could be as low as 8 laps into this race, just trying to short pit and get themselves, because it's so hard to pass for these guys rim riding around the top. So it'll be interesting to see what pit strategies play into involvement here as we get set to take the green at Kansas Speedway.
And we'll take a look at that PlayStation starting lineup here. SHG Hot Rod, we talked about earlier, sweeps the poles for both races. The Bear carrying some of that win momentum into qualifying for Kansas here on the front row, and a great qualifying effort by Parker in third.
Really good overall, too, for your playoff contenders, as you can see on the screen. 4 in the top 5, and then you got Fluffy there in 6th, and then Voltage and JRM Kepfer back in 9th and 10th. So all in the top 5, or top 10, pretty much, except for one in the back. But, I mean, this field is going to be out to get one another here because it is so hard to pass. And for somebody like Sloppy Joe, we've seen him take risks too. Look for him to come from 12th.
And you have to wonder who's going to work with each other with a handful of teams now out of contention for this championship. I think you're going to see drivers really team up to assist others in getting some good runs tonight. So interesting as we get ready to go racing here with the PlayStation drivers soon. But we're going to bring Zane back in here as well. The last couple races, we've had something pretty exciting for Twitch followers. Zane, you've got some more information on that.
I got a John Wood behind me, actually. That's even better. Sorry, no, I'm kidding. What we have again is the NASCAR Racing Experience giveaway going on right now in chat. If you use !raffle, you'll be entered in for a chance to win a NASCAR Racing Experience to any track that offers the experience. You'll get to put yourself into a stock car and feel what it feels to be the big boys, just like John back here behind me.
Tell John that I need to get one of those Wood Brothers shirts. They're pretty.
Yeah,
she wants a Wood Brothers shirt.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely love the vintage shirt there. Awesome. Well, thanks, Zane. We appreciate it. We're going to look forward to seeing who gets to win that awesome NASCAR Racing Experience package. But right now, we're going to find out who's going to take the checkered flag for PlayStation here at Kansas. It's playoff round number 2, and we're just moments away from the green flag.
Looking forward to it as well. We talked to Moordog, who's in studio hanging out with us. Looking forward to going racing, and this eNASCAR Heat Pro League broadcast is refreshed by Coca-Cola. It's been awesome to have them come on board as we go playoff racing, and love having some Coca-Cola here in studio with us.
Absolutely, especially because we're doing a lot of talking, so it's nice to drink a refreshing Coca-Cola while we're calling these races. But boy, oh boy, we're set to go as we take a look at some of our onboard cameras for tonight's race. There's Pennzoil out of Waynesboro, Virginia, Corey Rothkamp. How about this, though? They have been so consistent, leading the points with him and Brian Tedeschi. They've got to be the team with the target on their back going into this, whether they win tonight or not. You know they're going to be within the top 5 before the night's said and done.
Absolutely, but it's also a good position to be in, like you mentioned. They have a little bit of breathing room. They have something to fall back on. They can afford a night like this that something could go bad. They're good. They're in a good position. Actually, it was really cool. I did see Corey at Richmond this past weekend. He was there hanging out with the Penske guys. So awesome to get him out to the racetrack, hang out with them, and see our drivers, out in person. Awesome to meet them.
It is cool that they also, because of their affiliation with the teams themselves, have been able to go to the shops, have been able to go to the racetrack. Some of them have, and it's been really cool to see what the opportunities are presented to them. And I think that the eNASCAR Heat Pro League has done a great job working with the teams to provide those opportunities and just gave them the full NASCAR experience here as they also are fighting for their own championship here with the Pro League. And we're set to go under pace laps here once again as we get set to drop the green flag. Remember those pit stops, that's going to be something we're going to watch. With 13 to 15 laps into this run will be the prime opportunity to come down pit road, although we may see some short pitters as, again, look for everybody to go riding around the outside. One guy who may do that is that guy, Slade, #1 overall pick in the draft earlier this year for PlayStation, trying to lead the Wood Brothers to a spot in the postseason as we drop the hammer at Kansas, and it's time to go playoff racing.
You've got such a strong front row there with SHG Hot Rod and the Bear. Those two both strong contenders every single weekend, week out, no matter what racetrack we go to. And they are not going to let this first lap slip at all. SHG will take that top position, and Parker letting them battle it out early on.
Hot Rod, interesting, he's stuck on the bottom in turns 1 and 2, lost some of that momentum because around the outside goes the man from Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and last race's winner, the Bear, trying to use that high line momentum. He's got the 42 of Parker pushing him, and it's going to be the Bear leading lap #1.
The draft is definitely going to be into play tonight in Kansas, and we heard Moordog say in that lap around Kansas, you're going to see guys go to the wall, and that's exactly what they are. That line is on the wall, and SHG's managed to hold on. Ooh, contact with Slade there. Not something you want to do early on in the race. He's pretty much been hung out to dry here, not being able to sneak up in the draft. Everyone's nose to tail doing, buddy, you're going to the back. You missed your spot.
The freight train is coming on the outside as Parker takes a look below the white line on the front straightaway. You can do that here at Kansas Speedway. Parker taking a look back to the bottom, but I think everybody's pretty much content right now to run the top, seeing what kind of car they have for the end. But keep in mind, your bubble drivers with Slade in 4th for Wood Brothers, and then you've got towards the back with JRM Keffer in 10th for Junior Motorsports. And how about this? DK Brown for Go Fast back in 14. Needs to have a good run, both him and his teammate Go Fast Matt, to try to get themselves to the postseason. Still 53, now 52 laps to go.
There's definitely going to be some points calculating all throughout this race and the Xbox race, because like we mentioned in previous races, event wins are no longer a thing. It comes down to each individual's race's calculated points. So event wins no longer play into locking yourself into the next round. You both have to get a good finish and calculate those points to be able to move on. So DK Brown has a lot of pressure on his shoulders because Go Fast Matt is in that second race. So really, Go Fast Matt doesn't want the pressure of, potentially a bad finish there.
Parker, you're riding with him on board in second position right now, has a rear view mirror full of Pennzoil, but right now trying to work with the Bear to try to extend this pack's lead there at the front. As you see there, he's got the Patriots flag, so he knows how to win. He's trying to get a first win this season. He's led a few laps, but luck hasn't really been on his side. So we'll see if Parker can keep that 42 up front for Chip Ganassi Gaming. Unfortunately, they're out of the postseason contention, but definitely not out of contention for a win here early.
Slade getting some assistance and a push there by Jobs to try and creep up on the top 3. They've really formed their own little train here. Slade now able to kind of get up in there with them. You can see the top 4 starting to break away. Slade
we got an accident on the back straightaway. Fluffy's involved. 2 cars were spinning and caution is out. Looks like Kyle Arnold may have been involved, or Mike RPM couldn't make out the make on the machine there, but right now caution waves on the speedway just 7 laps into this event. Guess what, Hannah? Remember we talked about pit strategy? Early as 8 for some of these drivers. So I wonder if we're going to see some take this opportunity to go down pit road.
And I believe I saw actually Hot Rod involved in that accident as well. We saw him get out of the draft early on there when he chose to stay down on that bottom groove, and that allowed him to get back there. You see a replay. Yep, looks like we got Jobs who gets out of the groove there. Contact with Fluffy and SHG. And there it is. It ends it all right there. SHG around and collects a couple cars behind him.
Great driving from some of the drivers in the back as we take a look at Jobs. Not happy, but hey, still early. He's come back from wrecks before. He's had a top 5 actually after coming back from a wreck. So certainly not over as we look at our in-studio setup here with Moordog, his teammate. He's checking the Discord and watching tonight's action. We'll see him in race number 2. But right now we're back to green flag racing with 46 laps to go, and all eyes will be on that 14 machine coming from the back.
And we've seen him do it before. We've seen a couple drivers that have been able to rebound, and fortunately for him, it's early on in this race. There's plenty of laps left, 46 to go, to get back up there and work his way to the top. And this is where that pit strategy, he may have changed what he was going to do, knowing his track position now. But a couple drivers ducking to the bottom there, including DK Brown, hoping to make up a couple positions. They fan out through the corner and slip single file again down the front stretch.
Yeah, taking a look at our timing and scoring, it looks like everybody did take advantage of pit road. So everybody pitting on lap 10 during that caution. And right now, so everybody on an even playing field as we get back to racing. No change there with the Bear at the front. We ride on board with Slade, that #1 overall pick. Mr. Consistent, we like to call him. Last week's finish of 9th was his worst in the entire season. Not bad. Top 10's your worst finish, Hannah. So, I mean, that's says something about this young driver here.
And he had that average finish. I mean, being somewhere around the 3s all season long. Yeah. Of course, that 9th place definitely upset that overall average. But to be consistent like that, one bad week, unfortunately, will hurt your average. But to put together a full season like Slade has, he's really got to get a good run for his teammate, Casey. And, you know, I think we expect him to run well tonight. He's shown speed here, and he shows that he's in contention early on in this race.
Yep, Slade knows he has a job to do, and that's basically get to the front and try to win this thing to get their team, the Wood Brothers Gaming, into the next round of the postseason. Still a long way to go, but he's in a good pack right there. 6 cars, a little bit of a breakaway before we get back to 7th place. Kyle Arnold make that Fluffy now, who just passed Kyle Arnold for 7th. Fluffy, another driver who had, gosh, a lot of good luck last week, and he was leading late before a late race caution. He finished last, so not a good run for him. He wants some redemption, but right now it's all eyes on the front, and we just fly around this racetrack with the Bear leading the way.
And we saw a couple of the drivers in that secondary pack there fan out through the corner, and one of the drivers taking advantage of that. SHG Hot Rod already up to 7th, looking to reel that front pack in, including Pennzoil, who's running 2nd there. You see him inside there. No real pressure. It seems to be that the Bear, Pennzoil, and Parker, they're nose to tail, trying to break away from the rest of the field. Single file staying in that draft. It's going to take one of them breaking out and making that move, fanning to the bottom as the Bear holds that bottom line. And Voltage looks like he's going to take that risk that we were talking about, try and get underneath Parker there, and
he's got a slide job for 2nd.
Momentum. Yeah, serious momentum there. He's got to be able to hold on to it, because if he stays out too long and isn't able to slip back in, we'll see him lose that draft.
He does get back in the draft right in front of Jobs as they give a little bumper tag there going into turn 3. But as you saw, Voltage had no problem trying to make a run to the inside. And how you kind of have to pass here, it seems like, is throw the slide job, driving real deep on the bottom, have the car float up and keep that momentum in front of the driver ahead. Sometimes it sticks, sometimes it doesn't. When it doesn't, cause all sorts of problems for the field. But right now, still sticking with your leaders, the Bear has led 14 of the 17 laps so far tonight. And he looks strong, picking up right where he left off there. And he told us in the pre-race a few weeks ago, and certainly in the preseason, he loves these mile-and-a-half tracks. He feels he's the best, and certainly in the postseason, this is where you want to flex your muscle.
A great run for the Bear, like you'd mentioned there. And right now, if you really look at how the points rank up earlier going into this race, Levine Family Gaming is in that 4th position in points. So they're sitting pretty good going into tonight's race. You know, they have a little bit of flex room to play. But after tonight, we're down to 6 drivers. And that narrows it up even more. You know, you got to be able to run every single race to better your chances going into the next round. So while they're 4th right now, a bad run tonight could put them up for essential elimination in the next round. So he's put himself in a great position so far with 38 laps to go tonight in Kansas, leading almost every lap. There's only been 2 other drivers, Parker and SHG, that have led laps. Pennzoil, though, you saw him dipped out there, lost a couple spots as he slips back to the 6th position and hands that 2nd place to Parker.
Got a little bit loose there, and it seemed like he lost the draft, kind of went a little bit to the bottom side of the racetrack, and a couple cars swung around the outside. So Pennzoil able to regroup again, though. They don't have as much pressure as a guy like Slade and a guy like DK Brown have, trying to get their cars to the front. DK, though, has a lot of work to do, some 4 seconds back for Go Fast Gaming. But right now for Wood Brothers, one of the bosses is in the house for Slade. He's putting on a show, running in the top 3. just about a tenth of a second, 2/10 of a second back, but trying to work together with Parker. And we mentioned this last week when we saw Parker near the front. He hasn't been at the front a whole lot this season, so playing around and racing around these playoff contenders, you know, you got to know who you're racing with, so definitely got to take it easy. As you can see right there, everybody getting stacked up on the outside of the racetrack with Parker chasing down the 95 of the Bear. There's Parker right there on your screen.
And something cool about how this is formatted is obviously a good finish by Parker. Could have really put that upset in points between a couple of these contention teams. Fortunately, Levine Family Gaming is good, but a finish of Parker between Slade and maybe one of the other teams could be those couple points with him not being in contention for a championship with Ganassi that could really set a team in or out of the playoff bubble. So awesome to see Parker up here. You see that late season momentum, qualifies the top 5 the last 3 races. We're seeing a lot of these teams are finally meshing with their teammates, meshing with their crew chiefs, and collecting this late season speed, including SHG Hot Rod. We talked to Jake Morris. Back up to 6th after that incident earlier, and he's caught onto the back of this front running pack as well. Looking to chip a few spots off as Fluffy really holds up the tail end of this pack.
Yeah, the pack grew from about 4 or 5 to now 8 cars with Voltage sneaking up into your picture as we take a look at the lead pack. But again, for Parker, you know, qualifying's great, but man, it doesn't pay any points. And right now he's trying to get his team some points just to finish the year strong. But he's got Slade behind him who says, man, I need to get this win for this team, for Wood Brothers Gaming, outside looking in. So very good for Slade to be up here in the top 3, because the guys he has to beat right now are running 12th and 14th, with Keffer in 12th and DK Brown in 14th. So there's your competition caution waving here with 33 laps to go. And I'm assuming you've got to hear multiple changes for some of these drivers on pit stops, especially to get their cars handling right, running on the outside of the racetrack.
It's been so fun to watch this. We saw that early pit stop with that. This allows that competition caution. So exciting racing coming up as this eNASCAR Heat Pro League broadcast is refreshed by Coca-Cola. I love it.
There you go. That was my best impression. Nailed it. Yep, exactly. Great racing so far here. If you love the outside groove, kind of reminds me of running a sprint car or watching sprint cars around Kokomo Speedway. There's Slade. He's fired up, but he never shows it until the end of the race. Calm, cool, and collected, playoff contender. As you can see, we talked about Mr. Consistency. I mean, that graphic showed you 4.5 is average finish. Doesn't get much better than that.
As we go back to green, and he takes advantage of that start all the way to the bottom of the racetrack, down on the apron, tries to pick up a couple spots there. He'll have to slide right behind Parker and in front of Jobs there to maintain that draft. And it looks like he might try and nudge his way up there on the high line, clear by contact, but he makes it happen.
Tough when you don't have spotters, because I don't think Slade knew Jobs was still there, and contact bottles up the field behind him. Everybody still gets away cleanly though, but boy, that was really close, and that could have wreaked havoc for a lot of drivers here.
But SHG Hot Rod was in the right place at the right time, took advantage of that bottle up, is now in the 4th position looking to reel in the pack. But everyone behind him, kind of a hornet's nest. You got him 3 and 4 wide back there. Racing is Jobs and Pennzoil, Fluffy, all of them have kind of slipped away from this lead pack, but the Bear continues to be dominant with Parker on his tail. Slade and SHG, they're all kind of starting to break away. You can see the focus there on Jobs tailing Pennzoil. They're trying to give each other that push to catch that front running pack to get up there, but great opportunity. We talked about it just a moment ago. Slade in that 3rd position. His competition on the bubble of Keffer and DK Brown in 13th and 14th. His teammate Casey has to be watching this going, okay, there's a little less pressure on me, but they still need a good finish.
Oh, they certainly do. And right now, still a long way to go with 28 laps to go, but slide job for the 14. Hot Rod trying to get his car hooked up on the bottom and slice in front of Slade. Those two are going to make contact. Now, side by side goes the 21 of Slade, trying to hold his position, and he will going into turn 1, but another haymaker thrown by the 14.
Mordog said it early on, slide jobs and run to the top are what we're going to see, and I think we're going to see a lot of drivers trying to clear themselves by contact. You almost have to force yourself up in that top groove to make that gap to get back in the draft. Otherwise, you can lose so much distance in a single corner, but the Bear still running strong. Parker maybe took a peek there down below the apron. The Bear saw that line and said, nope, I'm going to block that run you've got going there. And that allows him to maintain that spot.
Yeah, the Bear playing as much defense as he is offense, trying to keep that 95 out front as you ride on board once again with Slade in the 21 for Wood Brothers Gaming. Still holding in that third position, trying to get every point he can as one of our bubble drivers going into tonight's race. Some 16 or 15 points back of the cutoff line, so he knows every point matters. Every position is another point. So still trying to work to get to the lead, but he's got some time to do it as that top 3 begins to pull away just a little bit, make that 4, with Hot Rod right behind Slade again, hounding him for that position.
And maybe I'm jinxing us here, but I have to commend a couple of these guys on the patience. You know, we've seen some previous races where chaos has broken loose. Man, you see SHG.
Slide jump! Slide jump!
Oh, that was perfect.
He did it!
Junior, yes!
He didn't make it happen, though.
Oh. He certainly made it try. Valiant effort. That won't be the last one we'll see, certainly, as we get inside. 25 laps to go.
SHG with just such a strong run every time he makes that effort at trying to throw one of those slide jobs and get in front of Slade there. He's able to reel Slade back in within a lap or two, shows the single car speed that SHG hot rod has. But the battle's starting to really heat up between the Bear and Parker. Parker's shown a couple times that he's ready to contend for that front spot, but the Bear, almost driving in his rearview mirror, continues to block the run that Parker gets and is unable to make it happen. Pure focus on Parker. I don't think he has moved in any of the frames that we have seen him in thus far. I'm quite convinced he actually might be frozen because he's got so much focus right now on trying to reel in the Bear and get that front running position. I mean, not an ounce of energy is being wasted elsewhere.
Certainly not, and I know this is a good position for him to be in. He's in a top 2 fast car.
Guys, that's not him. It's just a picture of him in front of the camera.
It's
a decoy.
Decoy.
I'm kidding. He's really there.
Zane always with the inside scoop. We appreciate it, buddy.
You would never know if it was a still picture. I'm not even sure I could see him breathing. Were you ever one of those video game players, or like, you know, when you used to race, you wouldn't breathe?
Sometimes. I honestly pulled a Michael Jordan. I stuck my tongue out, like, out of my mouth a little bit. I don't know why. It's like a habit.
I feel like we've seen a couple of these drivers that race with their tongue out. You know,
Yep.
it helps to initiate some extra focus.
Yep. Hey, whatever you got to do. And right now, man, Parker's doing a great job just keeping pace with the Bear, who has so much experience out front compared to not as much experience there for the 42. But if you like this kind of racing here at Kansas, from virtual Kansas, you're going to certainly love it when the NASCAR weekend visits Kansas Speedway for the Hollywood Casino 400. It's only about a month away, October 20th. As you can see the link there, get your tickets, because it's going to be an incredible time as we go playoff racing in Kansas. And certainly will be a hot ticket, especially the way that these playoffs have started for both these guys and the guys that go around on Sundays. So definitely make sure if you're out that way, get a ticket.
20 laps to go. Parker and the Bear have really managed to break away even from Slade and SHG. You've got a battle for first and second and that battle for third and fourth. Couple actual drivers just went through the grass there and farther in the back of the field. Everyone seems to hold on to it though. The Bear continues to lead. Didn't miss a stride there. Parker ready to take advantage for any slip up that the Bear has, bobbing and weaving all over the back bumper of the Bear.
Well, and that goes back to what we talked about with patience and concentration. I mean, you run this high line real quick, and, you know, you got to have it every lap, or else you're going to make a mistake. And right now, these two really have pulled away, but the battle right now is for third as Hot Rod gets underneath Slade, side by side to turn 1 as we look back forward through the field. Some action in the back, but here riding with Pennzoil back in 5th. That's your battle for third right now. The Stewart-Haas Racing driver of Hot Rod in the inside lane as the 21 of Slade gets back around and the momentum slingshots Pennzoil around the outside. So move Hot Rod back to 5th. Man, it really shows you the effect the draft has in that momentum of the outside lane. It looks like he just got sucked backwards.
And the battle for the lead starts to heat up. The Bear all the way to the bottom. Parker had a run there on the outside of him, couldn't make it stick. So the Bear will slide back up, still holding that front running position. 37 laps led so far tonight and 17 to go. We saw SHG, you know, pull that slide job. He made it stick for a couple laps, and Slade got back on the outside of him, and him and Pennzoil said, nope, to the back you go. he held on to it. I'm waiting for Parker to take advantage of a slide job opportunity like that, but the Bear holds the bottom groove so tightly. He will not get off the bottom of the racetrack through the corners there, so it's forcing Parker to be on that outside groove and really just get that high lane momentum, and he'll get up there and contend, but the run that the Bear has off the bottom of the racetrack just is so much better than what Parker has right now.
Well, I don't know if that was a good decision for the Bear, because there goes the 42, folks. The 42, new leader here at Kansas Speedway. The Bear looks like he's slowing down, probably coming down pit road. We're going to stick with him because right now with 16 laps to go, you're just inside that fuel window, guys. And this will be interesting to see because with 16 laps and pit stops coming as the rest of the field behind him comes down, it'll be interesting to see what tire wear does with 16 laps or 15 laps when they're done on these tires. So pit stops commence. The final pit stops of the night as caution is out on the speedway. Oh, this changes everything. Looks like Keffer. So let's go down to Zane. Zane, did you see why we have a caution?
So, guys, it appears, I'm getting over the radio right now. As you see, I got another headset on. A tire blew. So, sounds like Slade blew a tire and Bear actually doored him. They're actually going at it right now. That's what caused Slade to slide. And John right here, man. See, look, he's on it too. He's hearing everything. Slade got sent up the track sideways, was outside the retaining wall, looking at the outside retaining wall. Caution came out, but it seems there was a couple of blown tires. This caution may have saved somebody's playoff chance.
Thank you so much, Zane. And that goes right there, the blown tires. These guys pushing the limit, and it's going to certainly be here with 15 laps to go.
And we take a look here at that replay. You see there with the Bear and Slade. Ooh, contact there sends Slade up high into the retaining wall. Not the position you want to be, but we're going back green. Everything has been shaken up now with this pit cycle on how everyone will be with those blown tires. But up at the front of the field, the same two ready to battle it out, Parker and the Bear. Third in Rowdy and Jobes. And look at where SHG is. You've got a couple of these guys that are now in playoff contention completely spread out through the field.
How about your bubble drivers? Slade was up front all night. Now he's running in ninth, trying to play catch up with just 12 laps to go. So watch the 21 in the back there, the white car, try to work that high line and get back to the front, because right now of those bubble drivers, how about JRM Keffer up to 8th? So we've got some shaking and baking still left to do here at Kansas as we go back on board with the 95 of the Bear, now with a 42. And looking back now at Hot Rod. So there's your pole sitter working the inside line, getting freight trained on the outside as Parker leads some crucial laps here at Kansas with a hungry pack behind him, including the Bear trying to get win number 3 on the year.
Parker's just shown just a strong running tonight in the Bear right there. And Job's kind of come out of nowhere after this caution. He seems to be consistently quick in these last couple races, but unfortunately luck has not been on his side when it comes to finishes. Running in that 3rd spot there. And you have to know that the guys behind them, like JRM and like Slade, they're all trying to figure out who's around them and who's on the bubble. And Slade was on the bumper of JRM Keffer there for a while, and he knows that he needs to get in front of him. DK Brown is in 9th, Slade is in 8th, and Keffer is running in 6th, so they're really calculating points as they're going. But fortunately, these top 3 here, Parker, not a playoff driver. Job's not a playoff driver as well, so the Bear is in a good position right now, and it's got a fast hot rod underneath him.
Certainly does. Hope our folks downstairs have their calculators ready, because this will be interesting to calculate the points with all those bubble drivers running down there in the bottom half of the top 10. As Hannah mentioned, you've got Keffer, the highest running of those bubble drivers, up to 5th, Slade in 8th, and DK Brown in 10th for Go Fast. So those are your bubble drivers, but back to the lead as Parker, still frozen. Not really. Well, no, his mouth moved. He's talking. He's good. Still maintaining the lead here. Some good laps led for the 42 bunch, but that 95 wants another win. And how about Sloppy Joe? We haven't talked about him much for RCR. Another team not in the postseason conversation, but boy, he wants to win another race or win a race, and he's trying to get it done here with just 8 laps to go.
The Bear has got to be lurking on Parker. You've got those 8 laps, like you said, left. You got to wonder if he's kind of waiting until these last 2 laps to make that final move. Comes down to that last final corner. You can lead every single lap like the Bear has pretty much shown, but it comes down to the last one. And the Bear has been strong all evening long with a dominant car. Parker's been there to contend, and Job's in that 3rd position is watching and waiting. He's going to allow these two to really battle it out and hopefully take advantage of potentially a mishap between these two, but I think there's some respect between Parker and the Bear that these two are going to put on a great race to the finish.
Jobs on Twitter during the week said, watch for 5 laps to go. I think he was a precursor, because here he is with about 6 laps to go, running in third, and has a chance to get a win. Could we see a first-time winner here in the playoffs, of all things?
What a shakeup our lineup has seen with 6 to go. We had SHG Hot Rod up front, as well as Slade, Pennzoil, all of them outside of the top 5 now. Jerem Keffer was in 13th a majority of the race, now in 5th, holding on to those last couple laps there to get a good points finish for him and Jerem, one of those bubble teams. Managing, he's probably going to try and get up there and play with Sloppy Joe to get that pack, but time is running out for them. Hornet's Nest, though, behind them, as a couple drivers are racing extremely hard outside of the top 3. Again, every position in this race could be vital for a couple of these teams, so
let's send it down to Zane, who's got more as we approach now 4 laps to go.
Guys, with his closing laps right now, Bear is in the worst position he can be at this moment. He is sitting in the middle with Jobs behind him and Parker in front. If Bear makes the run for the slide job and doesn't get it, he's dropping back to 3rd and loses his chance to race. So he is in a really rock and a hard place at this moment with the laps winding down.
Yeah, absolutely, Zane. And it's incredible because that decision is so critical, whether when or if you make a move. Are you content to ride behind Parker? Certainly as a racer, you're not, but you got to think big picture here.
Absolutely, and I think the Bear has really set himself up majority of this race to be able to put that slide job in play again. That last corner, like Zane said, he doesn't want to make this risky move early on with 3 laps to go, because that just allows Parker to set him up in those final laps. So, you know, you hate to say it, but the catbird seat is probably the place you want to be sometimes in these races, coming to that final lap. Parker, all focus, though, as he continues to lead. 3 laps to go, and the Bear all over his back bumper.
2 to go at the stripe, and I wonder if a guy who would make a move like that is sitting in 3rd with Jobs. He knows probably the 95 is going to take it easy, but it's all about wins for the 42 and the 25 as we ride on board with Jobs in that Hendrick Motorsports Gaming Club machine as we go back to the front. They've been like this the last handful of laps. Jobs kind of losing touch with these top 2. So with coming to the white flag, it's going to come down to the 42 versus the 95.
Looks like Jobs may have scuffed the wall a lap or so back that lost that position, but man, these two are ready to duke it all out. Final lap here, the Bear, he is going to pretty much do a qualifying lap here. He's got to execute every corner perfectly to set himself up in this final corner to contend with Parker. Wouldn't be surprised if we see him tucked to the bottom. There he goes, contending for the lead here, side by side as they race to the checkered flag. Can he get it done?
Off of corner number 4, they touch, but it's going to be the 42 of Parker getting his first win of the season here at Kansas Speedway. Look at that elation of the Chip Ganassi Gaming driver. Congratulations to Parker surviving the hard charge of the Bear, who comes home 2nd. And Nick Jobs, hard rally, comes back home in 3rd.
Excitement for that driver of Parker. That right there confirmed that we did not have a still this entire race. Excitement as he celebrated that win, his first one. What an opportunity for it to come in the postseason to really get an opportunity to shake up this playoff picture.
It certainly does. As we look at our unofficial results from the PlayStation 4 drivers, Parker, first win of the season, a big win, and first for Chip Ganassi Gaming this year. The Bear coming home 2nd, Nick Jobs 3rd. Sloppy Joe, another non-championship contender, though, top 5 finish. And then there's Pennzoil, another consistent 5th place run.
And Pennzoil up front all evening long. He's got to be almost disappointed with that 5th place run, but they've got a cushion with their good points lead. Jerem Keffer kind of came out of nowhere in 6th. You look there at DK Brown, one of those bubble teams in 9th, and SHR Hot Rod started on the pole, comes home 10th.
Slade, who was in top 3 position all night long, comes home 11th. A tough points outing for Wood Brothers Gaming, who needed every point they could get to get into the postseason, as Mike RPM would round out the field.
What an exciting PlayStation race. Xbox up next, but Mordog has made his way up here to us with the booth here. You watched that all play out. What are you thinking now as you get ready to go race in the Xbox race?
It's about exactly what I expected. We're going to be stuck on the outside line. Slab jobs are going to be really prevalent, and it's going to be hard racing at the end of the run. So we'll see at about laps 13 to 14. The cars, the balance is going to be crazy different between each driver.
You think there's anything that your teammate could have done there near the end? He was right in prime position there. Or it's just kind of one of those hard racing deals.
And in his situation, no, there's nothing he could do. He could try to slide job Bear. He can do whatever he can, but the draft of Bear and Parker will just keep going by him. He's just got to wait for Bear and Parker to make a mistake, and they didn't because they're pros, they're great drivers. So hats off to them.
And we see Parker, who is not a contending driver for the championship. Also, your teammate with a pretty good run here as well, really shaking up the points, but we saw a lot of respect from playoff drivers and non-playoff drivers. What's the mentality when you guys go into your race of knowing that, hey, we're not in contention for the championship, but we just saw a first-time win from Parker and the excitement there?
Anybody can win at any given moment, especially at a track like Kansas. So considering the drivers, the playoff drivers, not really worried about them. I'm going to drive them the same as I always do with respect, and we'll see what happens at the end.
Well, Mordog, you got a nice setup downstairs, so why don't you go get suited up and ready to go as we get ready to go for the Xbox drivers. As we got to talk to our winner with Parker, because that was incredible driving and to survive the last lap attack from the Bear. And a big win for Chip Ganassi Gaming, the first this year and the first for that driver, Parker, in the 42. Incredible driving, and he joins us on the line. Parker, you have got to be so excited to not only win, but win during the playoffs when a lot is on the line for different drivers. How does this one feel?
I mean, it feels great. I owe Elijah and Chip Ganassi and everybody this win. This season's really not been what I've looking forward to. So, and I was feeling good about Vegas. I mean, just as good as Kansas. And yeah, like I said, I own one. So this is the one.
And that's exciting to see. We joked about throughout the race the intense focus that you had throughout it. We weren't sure if it was a still photo that we had, and then we saw the excitement that came with it. This win coming in the postseason, you get to add it to a resume, though. How does that carry you into the postseason with a couple races left?
Like I said, it doesn't change anything to where this, if I finish last year, I'm going to show up. I told Elijah, I'm the new game fits my racing style from sim racing. So like I said, I showed up. I was going to show up to those last 4 races and give it my best. And like you said, the profile, I've been doing this for 15 years. I used to be a peak driver for Dale Jr. So to be able to win in 2 different sim racing professional labeled esports is huge for me. So, it's a big win for me to be able to do this.
And we got to ask you real quick, how do you hold off a driver like the Bear, who's in a playoff spot, who's won last week, and survive that late race contact? Because that was an incredible finish between you guys. What were you thinking there going into turn 3?
So back to this, the Bear has been with me when I made my transition from iRacing over to here. The Bear was one of my biggest supporters, one of the guys who kind of stuck up for me. So it was actually easier than it looked to have him in my mirror. That's actually the one guy I wanted in my mirror. There's a couple of times early in the race where I told him he got loose, hit the wall, and I gave him no pressure. He's in the playoffs, so it was a little bit of payback. He didn't run me too hard, and last 2 laps is a free for all. But if anyone I wanted in my mirror, it would probably be Bear. So.
And awesome to see that respect there between 2 drivers. Again, Parker, congratulations on the win tonight.
Hey, thanks.
Well, good job for Parker, and I'll tell you what, when it comes to those bubble drivers, yikes, because the points are oh so close, and the guy who finished above them all was Jerem Keffer. His teammates getting set to go with Jerem Dohar. Let's take a look at this driver as we get set to go for the Xbox race.
I'm Tyler Dohar, JRM Dohar 88. I drive for Junior Motorsports on the Xbox. Having console NASCAR gaming was about all I had to really be involved with it. And then when the opportunity came about for the Pro League, I knew I had to jump on it. I'm gonna give you a little tour of my place. Here you'll see is my co-pilot Winston. He's my buddy. He's my 2-year-old Aussie Doodle. I've had him since he was a little pup. You see my flags in the background. The Dale Jr. one actually came from my mom, so big shout out to her and my dad. Thank you so much for getting me that. And then just got my new team banner in from the team, so appreciate them on that, helping me out there, giving me a little bit of wall decor. And then I've also got my keyboard, because in my undergraduate days at school I was a music major and then worked on my MBA all through Bowling Green State University. And the wonderful thing about BG, I sang in the men's chorus. That's actually where I got introduced to barbershop. NASCAR is something that I've loved for all my life, and being able to actually be a part of it, it's surreal.
I will say I am thoroughly impressed there. That was incredible to see him. We will leave the singing to JRM Dohar there, and we'll leave the talking to us because I cannot hit that note, let alone that long. That was impressive.
All these drivers just have multiple talents. It's incredible stuff. All right, let's take a look after that PlayStation race. How are the standings with just one race to go in the night? Well, here you go. Penske Esports, Roush Fenway, Levine. We knew that they were going to be up towards the top. Top 6 again move on. And there's your bubble right there with Junior Motorsports holding strong in that 6th position with Go Fast Gaming jumping up there. And then Wood Brothers Gaming has some work to do. Maybe a little bit too little too late. 45 backs from the lead, but they still got one race to go.
And Slade, after that unfortunate luck late in that race, did not set the situation up for his teammate Casey that well. But, you know, they have the opportunity to really take advantage in this Xbox race.
And one of the other teams on the outside looking in, trying to lock themselves into the teams of 6 that'll move on in the playoffs. It's Go Fast Gaming. We spoke to their rookie driver last week. Time to visit Go Fast Matt here on the pre-race show. Go Fast Matt, thanks for joining us. Talk about pressure, buddy. How are you feeling going into this one, knowing a lot is on the line? Really, your season's on the line.
There's definitely a lot of pressure. I mean, we got through the full season. Now we're getting into the playoffs. It's very difficult. Each race, 2 teams get cut. We're trying to make our way into the final 6. We were in a little bit of a deficit coming into the playoffs, so we definitely need to make up the points. We're a good few points away, but I think if we both can run tonight and have good finishes, that we might just gather enough points on JRM and make the cut.
And your race is coming up next. You're rolling off 10th night here at Kansas. How are you feeling about that starting position in your car to make up those points for that good finish position?
I like my car. I'm making some final adjustments on it right now, trying to get that last couple tenths on the leader. I focused everything I had into Las Vegas last week to try to make the round to 8. Of course, it was a tie. We moved on, thank the Lord. And pretty much just going to hammer away all night, try to make our way into the top 5, top 6 for that second run after the competition caution, and try to run away with a win here.
What's it been like working with your teammate in DK Brown? I know he's just kind of getting up to speed but you guys to gel so quickly already. What's it been like working with him and kind of getting him up to speed?
It's been awesome. DK Brown is a great person. As soon as he got picked, I hit him up on Discord. I went to GameStop, bought myself a PlayStation 4, and said, hey, bud, let's practice and get ready for these races. So he's been a great help to me. He's provided me with a lot of setup numbers. Of course, the friends that he has and the friends that I have, we've all tried to work together to get one good setup for this race.
Awesome. Well, good luck. Starting 10th tonight, we'll see what you can do, and hopefully it's enough to get your team into the next round of the playoffs. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
And what a suspenseful moment that was after Las Vegas calculating those points. But they're in, and they have tonight to try and figure that out. So we get ready to go Xbox Racing, SHG Slick with that pole. Great qualifying effort by the Bolt. And while that's garbage has figured out how to qualify in the last couple weeks. Another good run for him.
I'm almost disappointed that he's not coming from the back because he's done it twice, but Garbage again in 3rd, and then the guy we just saw in studio, Mordog, starting in 5th position as he gets buckled in downstairs racing in here at the NASCAR Hall of Fame. As we take a look back at the rest of the starting lineup, Shell V-Power starting in 6th. His teammate had a solid top 5, so they're again pacing the points field. And then we look at our bubble driver, Go Fast Matt. You just heard from him, starting in the top 10.
And 9th with HD Motorsports, also that Levine Family Gaming. His teammate with that 2nd position, so he's got to really get up there and get a good finish. They're good for tonight probably, but JRM Dohar, pressure's on for that driver in 11th, and Casey for Wood Brothers in 12th. Really got to get on the throttle tonight.
Yeah, I think Casey's going to just have to send it and try to get a win for Wood Brothers. JRM Dohar still needs a solid finish, though, but has a little bit of breathing room. And Skirt Busch, though, hey, not a championship contender, but his teammate just won in the PlayStation, so look for Skirt to try to work his way from the back, and maybe Ganassi can go 2 for 2 here.
You know, some texts are being sent between those two, but getting ready to go racing for the Xbox drivers now. Race rundown here. Again, 55 laps in length. You've got that pit window, but we saw everyone short pit. A perfectly timed caution there for some of those drivers, so maybe that won't play out. We could see something shake up, but that competition caution on lap 23.
Oh, certainly, and we saw some blown tires as well, so I tell you what, that short pit may not have worked out for some of those drivers, including ones like Slade that had issues there going to pit road, but definitely will be exciting to see with that competition caution coming at lap 23. So I'm excited to see what's going to happen here because we saw everybody run the top line, and that's when we'll talk with Zane here in the digital media lounge. Zane, boy, it was rim riding the whole time. Got any predictions here with this Xbox group, or is it more the same?
I'm still kind of in shock right now. I feel like DW at the end of the Daytona 500 and going, Parker, you got him! Like, that was an amazing finish for that PlayStation race, and here we go into Xbox. And right now, the guys I'm watching is the Bolt for Joe Gibbs and Go Fast Matt. In practice all week, those two guys were the top runners and probably the best two cars on the track. Bolt is starting outside of the front row. It could be a Joe Gibbs moment for him, and he could push his way into the victory lane.
The Bolt, always a driver that I look forward to watching race. Definitely entertaining, but thank you, Zane. We'll check in with you throughout the race there, but we're going to check in with Mordog, who's actually downstairs getting ready to go. He's all set up here. Hey, Mordog, can you hear us?
Yeah, I hear you.
How you feeling there? It looks like you're sitting here getting ready to go. You got to watch this last race, hang out with us. Feeling pretty good about this? You got a pretty sweet setup there.
Yeah, I feel really good about it. It's a comfortable setup. The chair is amazing. So we're actually just loading into the lobby right now, so I'm excited for it. I've been tired of waiting. I just want to race.
Yeah, we saw you on Discord. What are some things that you talked about with Nick Jobs there after the PlayStation race that may have helped you or may help you going into tonight?
Just kind of strategies on when to time out your slide jobs. It's really difficult at the pace everybody's going at on the outside lane. So it's kind of hard to execute one properly, but he kind of explained to me kind of how the draft feels and everything like that. So looking forward to it. It's definitely going to be difficult to pass for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you. We'll let you get into focus mode there, and I liked that they named it the Kennel. Downstairs, live from the Kennel, Mordog. We're punny here at eNASCAR Heat Pro League. I appreciate it. But we are getting ready to go racing. We'll let Mordog get in the zone here as the Xbox drivers get ready to go here at Kansas. One last shot for a handful of these teams and drivers. The pressure is on.
It certainly is. As we get set to go, there you see JRM Dohar trying to get the job done and make sure his team is in the next round of the playoffs. 6 teams will move on. Right now they're in 6th. He's always fun to look at, running on the couch there. He's got I'd probably say one of the best reactions every time we get to have an onboard from him. So good to see Dohar have an onboard camera. And again, this is eNASCAR Heat Pro League broadcast refreshed by Coca-Cola. If you haven't had one yet, you may want to go grab another one because this is going to be an intense battle at Kansas Speedway. Round number 2 of the postseason. We find out which 6 teams are moving on. We just have 2 more races to go after this to crown a champion. I can't believe it.
I know. I cannot believe the season is winding down this quick. I feel like it was just the other day that we were kicking off the season, preseason with some of those races, and then it was time to go racing, the kickoff at Charlotte, and we will be down to 6 teams contending after this evening. It's so crazy that we're already at this point in the season, but that just allows the racing to heat up that much more. The pressure's on for these drivers. And let's take a look here at that front row again. SHG Slick with a great qualifying effort. 8 poles for that team so far this year between those. But breaking news coming out of the digital lounge. Zane, what do you got down there?
Guys, we got an update coming over the radio right now. Diego is actually having a wheel issue. It seems that steering wheel came off. Not really, it's just he's having issues fighting with it. So he's going to take an EOL to the end of the longest line here as we get ready to go green.
Green flag will drop, so watch Diego now back at the back of the field, as right now all eyes on the front row as they're side by side, and green flag is out for the Xbox drivers here at Kansas Speedway.
Early on there, you see SHG slip back a couple positions behind. Wow, that's garbage. Track bar was giving him a little push there, but they've all managed to slip into line there. And the Bolt. I think it's interesting that Zane called it early on. He was quick in practice all week and quick in qualifying there and could have a pretty strong run there, but some contact as he slips into the high groove, gets out of that draft, gets slipped back and hands the lead over. Wow, that's garbage. Have we ever seen garbage lead this early on in the race?
It jogs my memory, but if it did, it was very brief. I think this is a good position for Garbage to be in, to get that lead experience early on in a run and to not have to play catch-up every time he's on the racetrack. The Frankton, Indiana driver, though, certainly has the view he wants with clean air out in front, pacing the field lead lap number 1. But we got one car in the grass. That's the 18 of the Bolt. Started near the front, he collects it. We stay green, but that's just going to allow that front pack to start to move away as they all go back to rim riding around the outside of Kansas Speedway.
not what the Bolt wanted to happen early on in this race. Slipped back to that 10th position. Plenty of laps to try and work his way back up there, but man, showed some strong showing in those first 2 laps and slipped back to 10th, so he'll have his work cut out for him. But on the bottom there, you see Moordog really challenging those top 5 there, top 6, including HD Motorsports, who's worked his way up a couple positions as well, trying to catch up with that top 3 pack. We saw it in the first race. The top 3, 4 really just broke away from the rest of the field and allowed them to fight. But early, it looks like Mr. Track Bar may get up to the back bumper of Slick there.
Here's what happened to the Bolt that ended up in the front stretch grass as gets loose off the corner into the wall and then just mows down that grass in the front straightaway, gets a little contact and keeps it going. So able to recover there, certainly with 50 laps to go, but right now may have to worry about some damage potentially to that number 18 machine. Right now, all eyes on the leader, and again, a guy running right there in the top 3 Track Bar. He's kind of been the consistent player for these Xbox drivers. I mean, 3 wins and he starts 4th. He's led the most laps by a wide margin this season. And certainly going to try to add to that today as we take a look at Shell V-Power. But again, the battle for the lead, just slicing and dicing each other here. Trying to figure out what each car has. Who's got the advantage? Who can have the run as Track Bar takes a peek to the inside. Right now, it's all single file around the outside.
Wow, that's Garbage with a strong run early on. Pressure. He's feeling the pressure, though, from Slick. We always see Garbage really get these late race runs. He gets a really strong race car at the tail end of these races. So for him to be out front early on, you have to wonder if that same strategy plays in and he'll continually get better, which would make him a very tough contender to beat tonight. You see down there checking in with Moordog, running 6th right now, down in our studio, or the kennel as we called it. Oh, but contact in the top 3 or 4. Garbage to the bottom of the racetrack.
Whoa.
Slick goes around.
Tough break for Slick, who gets hard on the outside wall in the back straightaway. We're still green as contact is made now between Moordog and the 6 of Garbage. So Garbage in the Oscar Mayer hot dog machine trying to play catch-ups. Now the caution will wave. Guess who's back in the lead? Shell V-Power, your winner at Charlotte in round number 1 of the regular season. Now back to the front here at Kansas.
Shell V was watching those 4 battle in front of him and took advantage of someone getting a little impatient there. And we're going to take a look back at what happened. You see SHG get a little bit of push from Track Bar and then contact between Garbage and SHG, which stacks them all up behind him. SHG stays in the wall.
Look at Moordog, just knifed his way through about 3 or 4 cars to get back up to the front. That was impressive driving by that young man in our studio downstairs here. He's got to be taking a sigh of relief, checking the phone, talking on Discord. But definitely interesting contact there at the front of the field with Garbage and Track Bar.
And you see the Bolt there, who was up front early on, currently running 12th. Not where he wants to be at the moment. Dan the Bolt, live from the Dan Cave.
We got a Dan Cave, we got a kennel, we've got all sorts of fun stuff here.
We've got the couch from, and the bear lair from the bear. We got it all here at eNASCAR Heat Pro League. But we're back under green. Shelby trying to hold on to that lead. Doesn't quite fire off on that restart like he wanted to. That hands that lead back over to Garbage and Track Bar. They've somehow weaved their way back up there. Shelby running 3rd, but hey, the Ganassi teammate, Skirt Busch, currently in 2nd. There were definitely some text exchange between these races, some setups that were shared, but Skirt taking advantage of this in the 4th position at the moment.
Yeah, certainly shaping up to be a career night for Chip Ganassi Gaming as Skirt dives to the bottom of the racetrack in that black number 1 from Global Poker. But let me tell you, Track Bar is coming. He got a great launch off of turn number 2 and is closing that gap to Garbage as we take a look back here. Mid-pack, how about Skirt Busch on the bottom trying to still make it too wide with Moordog right there. That's for 4th position. Go Fast Matt, one of our bubble drivers, was in there as well. But as you can see for Skirt Busch, has not been the season as all of a sudden he gets down into the grass, contact now on the wall, and we've got multiple cars around. That's Diego. The Bolt was involved. So just as we were about to say what a great run this was, as Skirt right there, I don't even think he knows what just happened.
Yeah, his facial expression did not seem to know what just took place there, but Just as we were talking, a great run for him. Unfortunate luck for Kurt Busch. The Bull as well, collected in that mess, goes to the back there. Not a strong night so far for that driver. Showed some really good potential at the beginning of the race, but unfortunate break for him as he will restart at the tail end of the field. Mordog, though, sounds like he's listening to some chatter there between all of the drivers. Little confusion.
Yeah, I wonder, Mordog, if he's pitting. Maybe we'll have a chance to ask him if he is, but there's the Bolt who just, that pretty much does it all. Just, whoops. All right, let's send it down to Zane before we go back to green.
Guys, I got a little bit of update off of pit road for Mordog. Everyone right now is saying the cars are completely tight and they're fighting it. So we'll probably see later in this run these guys try to loosen these cars up.
Well, hopefully they did, because both of them, the whole field just pitted there under that caution as we get back to green flag racing. So 2 pit stops now for the field.
And I think that's where we saw a lot of our contact early on, is a lot of these guys were diving to the bottom of the racetrack and unable to hold it under another driver. They were just too tight, shoving up and making that contact. And I think that was the cause of a lot of our wrecks. So with these drivers tuning these race cars as we get go with 40 left in this race, that allows some more side-by-side racing with maybe a little less contact here, but HD takes advantage of that, holds the lead here. There's some more contact, though, with Casey.
Yeah, 3 wide, now even 4 wide down the front straightaway. Now they're going to settle things down, but the Bear is loving this because he's starting to pull away as we ride back on board with our driver in studio, Mordog, who is currently in the 7th position, right in front of, there's Casey. So Mordog in that red number 5, right ahead of Casey here, trying to find a way around both these drivers. That's Garbage ahead, as well as with Dohar here on the front of Garbage. But right now, with Casey, he's just trying to hang on to this thing. He's in the outside wall, keeps it going, and we're going to stay green, but a battle for the lead now. So here comes Track Bar. Took a peek to the inside.
These Xbox drivers are wasting no time on making this track position up. I think the PlayStation drivers maybe felt a little bit less of the pressure because, you know, the finish of the Xbox drivers really fell onto it on how everyone finished in the PlayStation. So wasting no time, slicing and dicing. They are just all over the racetrack right now. HD holding strong onto that lead because I think Track Bar has had to go from chasing down HD to really driving in his rearview mirror because he has Go Fast Matt and Shelby hot on his tail and ready to take advantage of any slip up. Really, the entire top 6 right now are nose to tail,
jockeying around like prized fighters, just bobbing and weaving as right now HD is trying to fend off this hungry pack. Go Fast Matt in that 3rd position. Remember, Bubble Driver, Bubble Team trying to get a win for Go Fast Racing, but he's got 2 more cars to pass as here comes the battle for the lead. The slide job thrown from the 37, will it stick? Yes.
Slide job!
By a big margin as we get a voice of what sounded like Dale Jr.
Perfectly executed timing. That one worked as well there. But wow, HD on the brakes. Goes backwards. There's something happened. Maybe a blown tire there. I don't know. He was having a hard time keeping it off the wall there, but wow, that allowed Track Bar to really put some distance between him and the rest of the field as HD just drops like a rock to the back of the field. Something is definitely wrong with that driver, but Shelby takes advantage of it and battles it out with Go Fast Matt for that 2nd position. A little bobble there by Shelby, though.
That's just good racing right there. They were inches away from each other, luckily not making any sort of contact. But again, right now, if you're those drivers, you got to get back single file. Track Bar's going to run off into the sunset here.
And look at your top 2 right now. Go Fast Matt and JRM Dohar, both bubble teams. I mean, Go Fast below the bubble, JRM right there on the edge of it. Looking for good runs tonight. We saw JRM's teammate, or Dohar's teammate, get a pretty good run in the PlayStation race. So Go Fast Matt looking to rebound a little bit from his teammate as well. But Track Bar really just checking himself out there.
Slide job for 2nd. How about that run from Dohar? Just threw it on Go Fast Matt and stuck. The crossover move still side by side for 2nd as we continue to follow our leader. Yeah, the laps led say it all about what kind of driver Track Bar is. 187 laps and counting led this season. I think last race there in Vegas, it nearly doubled the next driver as the caution is out with our competition caution. So let's pump the brakes, get these guys cooled down, maybe a pit stop to make some more adjustments, and then have a dash here at the end. But Mordog laughing about something. There's Brian Tedeschi with Shelby
He's managing to work a pro league race in between his studies. Busy man he is with everything he's involved in at college.
Purdue Boilermakers, so for those boiler fans, you can root on Shelby in West Lafayette, Indiana.
Re-racking them here, getting ready to go racing.
Yeah, and this eNASCAR Heat Pro League broadcast, once again refreshed by Coca-Cola.
And green flag back in the air. You got Go Fast Matt there that cycles through. Again, no time wasted by any of these drivers as they fan out through the corner. SHG Slick really looking to make up some ground, started at the back, and Go Fast Matt ready to challenge Track Bar for that lead, but Track Bar with some assistance in the draft. Shelby gives him a little bit of a push, and JRM says, take me with you. And that shuffles Go Fast Matt back slowly but surely. Garbage, though, looking to tuck up there and take that draft also away from Go Fast, but it looked like Go Fast might be able to slip up there, but no, they swap positions, and Garbage gonna dive to the bottom there and challenge Go Fast Matt.
Meanwhile, back at the front, Track Bar now beginning to have a mirror full of Shelby. Your winner at Charlotte in round number 1 has not tasted victory since, but he's been consistent all season, helping lead his team along with teammate Pennzoil the entire regular season, and so far first 1.5 events in the postseason. So definitely a force to be reckoned with, and right now he's just trying to get a win. It's still a long way to go as the field now begins to fan single file on the outside of the racetrack. One car down there below is Diego back at 9th. But how about your bubble drivers, though, with Go Fast Matt in 4th, Jerem Dohar in 3rd. Then you have to go all the way back to 12th where Casey is. So not what Wood Brothers Gaming needs, but definitely is something Junior Motorsports needs to keep their team solidly in that 6th spot as we eliminate 2 teams here after this race.
The Bull, after starting up front, went to the back twice, and wobble there by HD. You saw him go all the way to the bottom of the racetrack, having to hold on to that. Looks like we actually had one go spinning back there. We'll have to see who that was, but Track Bar still with a steady lead, and Shelby driving in his rear view mirror down to the bottom of the apron. They're using this entire racetrack as we ride along with Shelby. He's in defense mode as Dohar is right behind him. You can see the focus there as he's trying to wait for Shelby to slip up, but Shelby, the steady man, looking for, like you said, another good run for Penske to just cushion the lead that they already have. They're sitting great right now in the point standings, but every point counts as we wind down and eliminate 2 teams every single race. So you want to have the best buffer you can going into the final race, the winner take all at Phoenix. You want to put yourself in a position that you don't have to stress every weekend. So Shelby really assisting in that position for Penske, but top 5 broken away from the rest of the pack.
Yeah, that driver that did unfortunately spin, looks like HD and Slick is now back in the back. So 2 heavy hitters, now 13th and 14th. So again, point shakeup as Track Bar continues to lead.
And did you see Shelby there? He really bobbed down, went to the bottom of the racetrack, lost that initial draft and had to slip back up into the 5th position, went from 2nd to 5th, and is now gonna have to try and reel back in Go Fast Matt to get back up there and contend.
He's been a bridesmaid 3 times, Jerem Dohar. He's been involved in many close finishes. He's been up towards the front, now wants a win during the postseason. Can he get it done for Junior Motorsports? Keffer did his job with a solid finish in PlayStation. Now it's time for the 88 of Dohar to bring it home as 23 laps now to go, with Dohar breathing down the neck of Track Bar, who's led the most laps here tonight.
I would absolutely love to see the winning reaction from JRM Dohar. He's definitely been one of our more animated drivers as we watch the driver cams each week, and so I would love to see that reaction. Would be a great story, especially for that team who's really feeling the pressure right now, but all 5 drivers down below the apron there. Track Bar trying to hold on to that bottom groove, but JRM is ready to challenge him, and he's getting some assistance from the other 3 to try and carry that run, but Track Bar is just so strong right now. he's able to slide back up there, maintain that position. But I really think it's broken down to the battle with JRM or Dohar and Garbage is starting to heat up, and that's allowing Track Bar to kind of do what he wants to do as these two continue to battle behind him.
Well, as you saw there in turn 1 and 2, that last lap, Track Bar was able to kind of almost slide job himself, where he dove it in real hard at the bottom, trying to take that line and opportunity away from the 88 of Dohar. So smart driving by the 37. He's good at it, leading the most laps in Xbox competition this season, just adding to him for JTG Doherty Throttlers, as there's again another onboard look for Dohar, your second place driver, just a 10th back of the lead, and closing, folks, as we tick the laps down and he starts to get a little bit of a run.
And I have to say, I really like the scheme that he is running, the Socket for Childhood Cancer.
Yep.
Really clean looking scheme for this week. They've been one of those teams that we've seen run a couple different schemes throughout the season, and this one stands out as one of my favorites. So cool to see it running up front in that second position. Shelby, though, was up front there. Yeah, you can see there that scheme that we were just talking about with Dohar for one of the campaigns over at Junior Motorsports Socket to Childhood Cancer, and he's taking advantage of that shot there, taking the lead from Track Bar. Great run there, goes to the bottom, manages to slide up in front of him and hold on to it. So you're going to see the emotion there of Dohar as we ride along with him change. It's now focused. He's got the lead, and he has to keep the man that's been on a mission all night long, Track Bar, in his rearview mirror.
A pass executed with perfection. As we continue to follow the lead group. Now, Shelby, who's that red car right in the back of your screen, lost the draft, worked his way back up now to 5th, a place he knows all too well, a top 5 finisher 7 times this year. Shelby, as we've got one on pit road with Casey, one of your bubble drivers for Wood Brothers Gaming. A little bit interesting now, making his 4th pit stop on lap 37.
Tough night for that driver thus far, knowing that they are on the bubble, but the battle continues for the lead there. JRM slips up, and that allows Track Bar to take advantage of that, take that lead back, and JRM Dohar slips back to 3rd. Wow, that's Garbage is taking over that 2nd spot.
Yeah, he knows it too. He said, well, you know, got a little loose. That's what happens. You make one mistake and others are going to pounce. Can you keep your concentration the whole distance? And right now, it's been a good battle, though, with some lead changes. Now, Garbage is going to have that high line momentum around the outside. We got pit stops, though. So downshifting goes Track Bar, gets it woe down on pit road, and he brings Shelby with him. So here we go with green flag pit stops. 15 laps to go.
And this is interesting to see it. You know, in the PlayStation race, we saw about 70 to 80% of the front runners really come in on the same pit cycle. And now you've got 2 of the front guys that came in early. That hands the lead over to Garbage and Dohar. Now on a different pit cycle than Track Bar and Shelby, 2 other front runners. And with the stress we saw on the tires, we saw some blown tires in the previous race. This could really shake things up on who, if the short pit was the smart idea or if waiting a little bit longer was.
I think Casey was just trying to throw something at it and said, I'll short pit because if this thing stays green, he may have a shot to leapfrog some drivers and get back towards the front, which is what is happening now with green flag pit stops here at Kansas Speedway. As we ride back on board with JRM Dohar. Those 2 drivers really work well together. Both him and Keffer talk all the time. They're good buds. As here comes Dohar to pit lane, so it'll be his turn for service, as will J-Mac attack.
And if you are enjoying what's going on now, we want you to join us in Kansas for playoff racing with NASCAR. The big boys headed there in just a few weeks, October 20th, for the Hollywood Casino 400. Playoff racing, always some of the most intense racing we see all season long. So you do not want to miss out on your opportunity for tickets. You can get them at kansasspeedway.com/eNASCAR. The racing has been intense tonight here on the Pro League. It's definitely going to be intense as we go there in just a few weeks with NASCAR. You're not going to want to miss that opportunity. But
yeah, their playoff battles is certainly shaping up really nicely over there for those guys that run on Sunday. So don't want to miss that. But here we go as things begin to cycle through. 14 laps to go at Kansas for Xbox. Track Bar cycling through should be the leader as we ride on board with Casey, who did short pit, and that brought him up now to 5th place. So Casey, who was nearly dead in the water, up to the top 5 spot, 3 seconds back of the lead as everyone's back through after making pit stops. Once again, the guy who capitalized this track bar got onto pit road nicely, made some time, was able to get a nice out lap, now has a 2.5 second lead over JRM Dohar.
And just back there in the distance, you can see Shelby and the Bolt working together, giving each other that push to catch JRM Dohar, which has a little bit of a gap between them. And if those 3 can get linked up, that 2-second lead will definitely shorten pretty quick on track bar, being out there by himself, getting no draft help. He's just fighting that air all by himself, but he's been strong up front all evening, so he's got a pretty good chance of holding that lead for some time. But the Bolt, we talked about it, in 3rd now. Tough luck at the beginning of this race, started in the front row, involved in 2 early accidents, has worked his way up to that 3rd position. Zane had said it in the pre-race or over the break. This could be an opportunity for this Gibbs driver to have a breakout evening, get that win. They're still in playoff contention, so this could be an awesome night for that Gibbs team. But
he's doing it with damage too. Look at that left front, just hanging out. He had that trip through the grass, but he's still chugging.
Yeah, you know the camber on that's all messed up.
Oh yeah, but he's wheeling it though. He's got the green gloves on in the Dan Cave. You know, he's working it right now, running in a podium spot, coming to 10 laps to go. As far as our bubble drivers, just a bubble check. Dohar, 2nd, solid for them. They should be locked in.
Man, Dohar managed to catch track bar with absolutely
he's gonna pass him right here.
Pass him, yeah, track bar. Kind of looks like he's got a parachute on him. I mean, Dohar passed him effortlessly, that was a tough word. Effortlessly, and slid up in front of him, hold on to it, and is able to put some distance between him, which has got to be a sigh of relief. And I have to wonder now, if Dohar wins, do you think we could convince him to sing for us?
A little barbershop. I mean,
it was
he needs
Jobs
his quartet, though.
It was Jobs that was going to rap for us, correct?
That's true. We're still waiting on the mixtape.
We'll ask him to sing for us at Phoenix for the winner take all if JRM makes it there.
There you go.
Would be awesome to do.
Maybe his quartet buddies will join him. Zane, let's get it down to you because you've got more on the driver we're watching, JRM Dohar.
Dohar is a man, the tactician of the eNASCAR Heat Pro League, like we've talked about before. 3 top 2 finishes, all on fuel mileage and strategy. He's doing it again here, folks. He's got fresher tires than track bar. That's why he drove by track bar like he was standing still in the 405 with no one around him. Track bar pitted at lap 40. Dohar went on lap 42. Those 2 lap extra tires is enough to put Dohar in front, and I don't expect track bar to catch him unless Dohar pulls a fluff that we saw at Vegas and that smacks the outside wall.
Ah, yes, the old fresher tires trick. That's what it comes down to, folks.
And if Dohar can hold on to this for these 8 more laps, like he'd said, what an opportunity and what a race to have to collect that first win here. Like we said, he's been the bridesmaid so many times. He's put together some great races, just hasn't had luck fall his way. And he's also had some tough luck throughout the regular season and the postseason thus far. So to put together a race like this, to get a win like that, you have to hope that, you know, he's driving with everything he has right now. Being a bubble team, they've got to get a good finish this evening. But what an opportunity to get that win and to be the win that really solidifies their team standings.
Absolutely. Good run so far for Junior Motorsports with Dohar in the lead with 7 laps to go as we ride on board. That was Go Fast Matt, our bubble driver, in 6th position behind Shelby. We can keep our attention to the top 2. Don't look away now because Track Bar's going to try to do everything he can to get to the back end of the 88. 0.4 of a second between these 2, and then it's 2 seconds back to the Bolt, who's driving with damage, trying to limp home and give Joe Gibbs Race Gaming the points they need to continue to be solidly in for this chance at that winner-take-all championship finale.
And if you guys were with us at the drop of the green flag here, Zane informed us that Diego had to drop to the tail of the longest line because his steering wheel was not working, and he is now running 4th. So I'm going to assume he got that wheel running. Great run for Diego there.
Got a caution, folks. Caution on the speedway. This changes everything.
This is not what Dohar wanted to see. He had a great lead put together there over Track Bar and the Bolt. This will restack him and get Track Bar the closure that he needed to contend with Dohar with 5 laps to go. So You can see them all running slow there.
Here's what happened, and we're going to show you from our studio. As we ride on with Mordog.
Oh,
my.
You can hear it. Sounds like Shelby took 2 tires, blew a left front tire, and that driver, Mordog, had nowhere to go.
not what he wanted to see. You can see the disappointment there. Mordog had a strong run going on early in this race too. So
big breaths over here for Dohar. He just did not want that caution.
He's gonna have to execute 4 perfectly good laps here. I mean, he's qualifying with 3 to go here. Green flag drops, he's gonna hold on to that bottom. He needs to get a good run going into this first corner here to slide up, and the bull tucks behind him, gives him that little push, just what he needed to clear track bar.
Yeah, it's gonna be a 2-lap shootout here as everyone's trying to catch the 88. Who's gonna get it done here at Kansas? The Bolt trying to make a vie for second, but track bar's got the momentum on the outside.
This is just what you want to see. You want to see second and third having their own battle that allows the leader to breathe a little bit, but
oh boy, here we go, battle.
Everyone is getting dicey. Track bar holds onto that outside groove there, challenging Dohar for the win. Dohar with a great run there will try and slide up in front of him here, but track bar will go to the bottom and try and get a run.
Trying to find that extra grip, but here comes Go Fast Matt. Got a huge shot from what looked like Diego, and he throws a haymaker. So move the 32 to third just briefly, but here comes Diego, or excuse me, the Bolt on the outside, but now we're all squirrely. Coming to the line, and the checkered flag is out for the 88.
And
finally.
There it is. You can see the excitement for JRM Dohar. Lots of emotion. This is what I was excited for. I love seeing the emotion of these drivers. You can see it there. Yes, we can't hear him, but we can only imagine what is being said right now.
Careful,
I love
get
it.
dizzy. First win this season, once a bridesmaid, no more. He finally tastes the checkered flag in a playoff race. A good run. Boy, that's a great finish for JRM Dohar. Needed that one with Track Bar, who led the most laps. Doesn't lead them all, though, at the finish. Comes home second. The Bolt, great job. Comes home third. Go Fast Matt, a bubble driver, in fourth.
And look at that there, Skirt Busch, we talked about it. A potential good run for him, comes home fifth after that early contact.
Yeah, good top 5 for them.
Yeah, so really shake things up there with JTG, and then you've also got Ganassi, not in the playoffs, but in the top 5 there. So cool to see that shake up, and man, what an exciting win for JRM Dohar. They needed this good finish. And then Diego, wheel problems, rebounds for that 6th place finish, and our in-studio man, Mordog, in 8th.
Tough run for SHG as a whole because Slick had a great car, so did Hot Rod and PlayStation. Fortunately, neither worked out to fruition here for a win. And then Casey with Wood Brothers, that all probably but seals their fate, coming home 12th. With Garbage, who started up front this time, coming home shotgun on the field.
Yeah, not what Garbage wanted there, but we're going to go back downstairs and check in with Mordog, who's been hanging out with us all evening. And Mordog, it's not probably the result you wanted. We saw the disappointment on your face there. Essentially, take us through what happened there late in the race.
With about like 6 to go right there in that final run, about 3 or 4 of the guys in front of me couldn't make it on fuel or tires. So I was probably setting up for about 3rd or 4th, to be honest. I was just kind of just kind of taking care of my tires, and I had plenty of fuel to the end. And Tedeschi in front of me blew a tire, and I got collected up with him. So then I restarted in that last restart back in, I think it was 13th. I got back to 8th, but it was definitely interesting there. I had setting up for a pretty simple top 5, but things like that happen, so it's no big deal.
As I say, it's one of those racing deals, but
Yeah.
what was it like out there driving when you know some guys have better tires, worse tires? Do you have to kind of almost play who you're driving against and really kind of watch where you are on the racetrack so much on a place like this?
Yeah, so after the competition caution from lap 1, you got to take care of your tires and fuel to be able to make it to the end on one pit stop. And I had it set up that way, but just circumstances didn't play out. Brian took 2 tires there to try to get some track position, and it had worked out for him, but he couldn't make it to the end. So, but that last restart was crazy. But everyone seemed to do it pretty clean, so it worked out pretty well for us.
We appreciate you coming in, playing in studio. Hopefully you had a good time here with us, and a great run again today.
Yeah, it was a blast. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Well, but the guy who tasted the win here, how about this? JRM Dohar 3 second-place finishes. Today, he won Bestham with a big win here at Kansas Speedway in round number 2 of the playoffs. He joins us on the line. Dohar, we saw in your reaction there from your onboard camera. Take us through what it feels like to finally taste victory here in the NASCAR Heat Pro League.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Chris and Hannah. You guys know it's been quite a season. It's been quite a journey. I got to start off with, I got so many thank yous I just got to get out of the way. I really got to thank Junior Motorsports, Mike Campbell, Jordan Erickson, Robbie, our social media guy, for believing in me, for picking me for this team, my teammate Jason Keffer, Justin Mons, John Paul Minatello, a.k.a. Pro Boss. Those guys, we worked on this setup for every single night after I qualified. I was so mad I qualified 11th. I was beating myself up. But we put the work in, we put our heads together, and we made it work. I can't thank them enough. My family who was watching, my phone's been blowing up with texts from them, my girlfriend for watching, NNR, aka RSR, the racing leagues I run in on Xbox. It's surreal to finally win one of these things. I kept saying, I wanted to be a points racer, and Zane always tells me, you're like the Matt Kenseth of the Pro League. You're going to point your way into the Final Four, but I wanted to win one of these darn things so bad. I owe Justin Brooks the biggest thank you for taking care of me, Brian Tedeschi for helping me all season long, Jacob Kerr, Sam Morris, those guys, just Nick Walker. Wow, that's garbage. I'm out of breath. I'm just so excited.
Take a breath, man. You won. Relax. You're good.
I was going to say that answers my next question there. You got those thank yous, and we got to see your excitement and your reaction, and we have to wonder if you were even singing in that moment. We found out that you're quite the singer, so I can only imagine some tunes will be sung tonight in victory.
Yeah, might be a couple opera tunes. I'm just feeling in an opera mood today. That's what I was listening pre-race, just listening to opera, taking in barbershop, any kind of music that I can get. I just love it. But thank you guys so much for all you do, to 704 Games, to NASCAR, to the RTA for putting this on. This isn't about me. This is about the community. I'm just so thankful that we have a platform for our game to flourish and shine. Thank you guys so much for putting this together, and I just can't wait to see what the future holds for everything.
Well, congratulations again. Hey, and to add the cherry on top, you guys are on to the next round, so congrats, my friend.
Thanks, brother. Thank you. We'll see you at Homestead.
All right.
Awesome to see that driver get that win. It's been a long time coming for JRM Dohar, but we talked about it in the pre-race. The Twitch winner of the NASCAR Racing Experience, Dennis Tereshi? We will let Zane figure that out, and they will reach out to you.
If that's you on the screen, you won. Heck yeah.
Yes, we will let Zane figure that out. So congratulations, and let's take a look at the unofficial standings here after the night. Team Penske still with that great buffer there, but Stuart Haas Gaming slowly closing that gap sitting in second. Great night for Junior Motorsports, jumps up to third in the standings.
Yeah, that's a huge jump from 6th to 3rd and just 16 back of the leader. I mean, that is an impressive night, bar none, with Roush Fenway Gaming, Levine Family Gaming, and Gibbs Gaming having a trouble evening here tonight, coming back into 6th. They'll have work to do, but look at the points. So close to one another. It'll be another great one in 2 weeks when we cut this list down to 4.
And there's that line there. Unfortunate evening for Go Fast Gaming and Wood Brothers Gaming. They will not move on to the next round at Homestead. So their championship run ends tonight here at Kansas. Not what any of those drivers wanted to see, but that just closes that line a little bit closer. 6 drivers now in contention. Gibbs right there on that bubble. Levine down one of those spots. Things heat up as these drivers get ready to go to Homestead in a few weeks, and they are now the drivers on the cutoff line. They have to put together the race that we saw JRM, that we saw Go Fast Gaming and Wood Brothers try to put together tonight. The pressure's on in 2 weeks for Levine Family Gaming and Gibbs.
Yeah, if you can't tell, this is very hard to do, to put a complete night together. So props to everybody who's making it to the next round. And joining us now is going to be the driver, unfortunately, of a team not advancing. This is Slade, who joins us from his room. Slade, I can't imagine, I know it's a hard thing to swallow here, but you've got to be proud of what you've been able to do this season, especially being the #1 overall draft pick.
It's been a ride, man. I mean, I can't be more excited than how the PS4 side's been for the Wood Brothers team. I mean, 2 wins. This past race has been rocky, obviously. Auto Club in Kansas couldn't have been any closer mark. We ran top 5 pretty much the entire race. And then got some incidents. I think I got wrecked about 4 or 5 times that race. So it was whatever. I mean, it didn't matter. Honestly, I hate to say that just because of how the Xbox race went. We wouldn't have made it anyway. But I had a blast out there, man. This season, that race, everything. Getting the helmet, getting 2 wins, that driving experience, couldn't ask for a better season.
And it's been so fun to follow your story and watch everything take place and unfortunately, again, you're not getting that opportunity to race for the championship, but you've got 2 races left. You're Mr. Consistent. You've got the best overall average finish. Does that make your want to win even that much more to really shake off the playoffs in the last 2 races?
Absolutely. I mean, we got nothing to lose now. For most of the season, we've just been trying to just get points, and get good finishes. Now it's all about winning. That's all that matters. We're going to try to get this Ride Spin 4 Mustang back to victory lane. Haven't done it since Michigan. But I just can't, how the season's been. I just can't believe how it's been. It's been an awesome ride, and I cannot wait to finish the season and meet up with everybody in Charlotte once again.
Well, we're proud of you, my friend, and we can't wait to see what you can do the last 2 races. Congrats again on a great run, and we look forward to the last 2 races.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Awesome. Well, guess what? Speaking of the next race, here we go. Wednesday, October 9th, Homestead Miami Speedway. And no, it's not the final round. So this is the penultimate round. Homestead, the site coverage begins again at 7:30 right here on NASCAR Heat Facebook page as well as Twitch. Certainly will be exciting, and I'm sure we're going to see some rim riding action there at Homestead.
Absolutely. Always a place that puts on the excitement. 6 drivers. We're down to the final 6 that get ready to go and race for this championship. It's been an amazing evening so far. We saw Parker collect that win. We saw Dohar finally get rid of that bridesmaid finish and collect the win for them. They lock themselves into the next round as we go playoff racing in Homestead in just 2 weeks.
And a special shout out to our producer, Kara. Final broadcast with us. We thank her for all she's done, and we thank you for tuning in. We'll see you in 2 weeks at Homestead Miami Speedway.